Tonight, something happened at the World Cup. Something that hasn't happened in 70 years. Not since 1954. Not since black and white television. Not since before most countries even had a World Cup squad. And it happened in 32 minutes. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what Ousmane Dembélé did tonight, why it belongs in the same sentence as the greatest individual performances in World Cup history, and why the record he nearly broke has stood for longer than most football fans have been alive. There's just one question I'm going to leave open for now. Why did it take him this long? Let's start with the record itself, because most people don't actually know it. It's 1954. The World Cup is in Switzerland. There are no substitutes, no VAR, no analytics teams. There are 16 nations, and a striker for Austria named Erich Probst does something nobody had ever done before. He scores a hat trick in 24 minutes from kickoff. That record has survived every World Cup since 1958, 1966, 1982, 1994, 2022. 17 tournaments, hundreds of hat tricks attempted. Nobody touched it. The world changed completely in those 70 years. Football changed completely. The game got faster, fitter, more tactical, more analyzed than any sport in human history. And still, nobody came close. Until tonight in Boston. Minute 7, minute 20, minute 32. 32 minutes, 8 slower than Probst. But the second fastest hat trick from the start of a World Cup game in the tournament's entire 96-year history. That is not a small thing. That is an enormous thing, dressed in very quiet clothes. Now here's what makes this particular hat trick unusual. They weren't 3 scrappy tap-ins. They weren't penalties. They weren't 3 versions of the same accident. They were 3 completely different goals. Goal 1, minute 7. Mbappe finds him with a diagonal ball. Dembélé receives it on the right, drops his shoulder, beats 2 defenders, shifts onto his right foot, and fires across the goalkeeper into the far corner. Clinical. First touch, no hesitation. Goal 2, minute 20. This time he cuts inside, left foot, from outside the box. Pure technique. The ball doesn't bounce, it doesn't bobble. It simply arrives in the net like it was always going there. Goal 3. Minute 32. Elise makes an overlapping run. It creates half a yard of space. Half a yard is all Dembélé needs. Left foot again. Powerful, low, done. 3 goals, 3 different techniques, 3 different angles. Right foot, left foot, left foot. And here's the detail that Optajo confirmed after the game. And this one will stay with you. Dembélé's 3rd goal was the first goal of the 182 scored at this entire World Cup, where every single one of France's 11 players was involved in the build-up. That is not a hat trick. That is a team expressing itself perfectly, and one man finishing it. Now, here's what nobody is saying. Dembélé arrived at this World Cup, having played 19 major international tournament games without scoring a single goal. 19. 2 World Cups, multiple Euros. All that talent, all that potential, 0 goals. He won the 2018 World Cup, barely played. He reached the 2022 final, started, didn't score. He was always there, always involved, never quite the story. He is the reigning Ballon d'Or winner, and people still called him Mbappe's sidekick. And then tonight, in front of 65,000 people and a global television audience, he scored 3 goals before halftime, while Haaland sat on the bench, while Mbappe played the assists. That is the thing about records. They don't care about narratives. They don't care about what you were supposed to be. They don't reward patience or punish doubt. They just exist until someone breaks them. And one more thing nobody is mentioning. The record Dembélé nearly broke, Probst's 24-minute hat trick in 1954, happened in a group stage game that finished 7-5. Austria beat Czechoslovakia 7-5 in a World Cup match. Football was a different sport then. The record survived anyway, for 70 years. It nearly didn't survive tonight. So where does this leave us? France, top Group 1. 3 games, 3 wins. Perfect record. Only the 2nd time in their history they've achieved that. Dembélé has 4 World Cup goals. He's level with Mbappe, Haaland, and Vinicius Jr., 1 behind Messi. The Golden Boot race just became genuinely unpredictable, and France's knockout path, as group winners, gives them the best possible draw going forward. But here's the question I left open at the start. Why did it take him this long? The honest answer is this. It didn't. Not really. Dembélé has been this player for 2 years. He scored 35 goals for PSG last season. He won the Champions League. He won the Ballon d'Or. The world just wasn't watching closely enough. Tonight, they were. And in 32 minutes, against the backdrop of the biggest tournament on earth, he answered every question that's ever been asked about him. 70 years is a long time to hold one. Erich Probst scored his hat-trick in 1954 and probably never imagined it would still be standing when football was played on artificial pitches in Boston, Massachusetts. Dembélé didn't break it tonight. He came within 8 minutes of it. The tournament has 4 weeks left. He's already got 4 goals. Watch this space. If you want to be here when the next record falls, subscribe and tell me in the comments, after tonight, is Dembélé officially the most dangerous player at this World Cup? Because the numbers say yes. But if you think that's the biggest surprise this World Cup has in store, think again. Because after looking at the bracket, the form, and the matchups, I found a realistic path where the USA actually wins the 2026 World Cup. It sounds crazy until you see the evidence. Click the video on your screen, and I'll show you exactly how it could happen.